Are there any other reasons to oppose? Yes.
During the period of 2003, 2004, the TRAA sought to get permission to expand the runway at Tex. In order to gain approval, they needed a majority vote of the Board of Commissioners to say yes, the Board of County Commissioners. At that time, the TRAA, individually and collectively, once again reiterated the fact there would be no flights into Tex. So they promised night flights. Sorry. So they promised it, and they re-promised it, and now they're changing. They're looking to change it.
Okay, so who promised it in that case?
The Board of County Commissioners.
No, they were
TRAA.
TRAA. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Oh, the
Did
TRAA.
they lengthen the runway?
When they lengthened the runway, they promised that there'd be no night flights. You'd never have night flights. They did this at meetings, they did it before the
Lengthened
county.
or improved? I think the balance
Both.
operating length's still about the same, isn't it?
Go ahead, go ahead.
I was just curious, I didn't know it was a lot longer. I know they put EMAS in, but it didn't change the length of the runway for
They
operating.
improved the runway, and
Improved.
when they got the county approval to improve the runway, John Macetic stood up in front of everybody and promised that there would never, ever be night flights at the Telluride Airport.
Any other thoughts on that?
My name is Truck Chrysler, I live in Aldesaro.
Okay.
And I strongly approve of the last issue that's written there, that promises were made that there would never, ever be night flights at the Telluride Airport.
Go ahead.
I have a question. In the past, when the TRAA wants to do something, they have to go to the county for approval. In this case, is there no requirement to go through the county process for approvals?
Well, you know what, I think that's a question that I want to get to after we're done with this.
Okay.
I want to talk about who actually has the approval to do this, because I think it is an important question. But what I want to do first is to get through these reasons to oppose. So are there any additional reasons to oppose?
Can I just add one thing because
Yeah.
of the comment that was made upon my point there, the last one? I would really like to encourage people to be very genuine and respectful about this process and not exaggerate. That is my comment. I did not say that I wish the airport did not exist, okay? As this gentleman
Okay.
just interpreted my comment.
Okay. We're just having a friendly discussion. Okay.
I wonder with more flights and night flights, I'm not an expert on wildlife and their movings. I do know they move at dawn and at night more than during the day, and the impact on the wildlife, which I think a lot of people in this town
So
are
prairie
very-
dogs.
Yes.
Of course prairie dogs. No, I'm talking up in the hills more.
Okay, no, I'm kidding. I'm joking around. So impact on wildlife, anybody else have any thoughts on that, impact on wildlife? All right, anything else? Harvey?
On safety, pilots may think it's safe, other pilots may think it's unsafe. One thing that's important, NetJets and their subsidiary Marquis Jets, which are owned by Warren Buffett, they're the largest commercial carrier. They won't fly in at night into Vail. They won't fly into Aspen, a couple of other mountain airports. When I called them up, they said if Telluride was open at night, they would not fly here. I asked them why. They said, quote, they place the safety of their passengers first and foremost.
Okay, that's a good point. Anybody have any thoughts on that one? Any other reasons to oppose the night flights?
Nick
Yes.
Kennedy is my name. I've lived here since '77. I've been a pilot for 28 years now. And the safety issue is paramount, I think, here. There's also the nighttime noise, which Susie Mead and Bill Wells brought up, and the light pollution, which is incredible out there when the lights are on at night. But there are so many homes surrounding the field out there. Lawson Hill, Last Dollar. There's families out there. And if one of these planes at night plows into this Lawson Hill area, you know how dense it is. It is going to be the biggest catastrophe this town has ever known. So the safety issue for me, and I'm with Dick here, I would not fly in here at night. There's just too many things out there. there's clouds out there, and there's big up and down drafts, and people make mistakes, as that Buffalo flight that went in, that crew caused that. And you look at all these accidents, and it's 95%, it's the crew making an error. And we all make errors. And it's just, coming in here at night is just beyond me. And how they tout this as an economic reason here, I'm just not buying into it.
Is anyone else here a pilot? In the back, would you fly in here at night? What's the,
As a private pilot or as a fully instrumented?
whatever you, however you interpret it.
I choose not to do that in the mountains in general. As a private pilot, I, on the other hand, feel that an aircraft on an instrument approach, granted, we don't have a glide slope on that 9 runway, but with that, and properly trained, if I were a pilot flying for an airline, or for that matter, a regular charter operator that's in here and out here, I personally would not have a problem with that. But it's, that's a training and experience thing that, my personal feelings about it.
Okay. Go ahead, in the back.
Eric Benjamin, I live at West Meadows and manage the HOA there, and the commercial pilot may be, have his 10,000 hours, but he's going to be competing with the airspace with general aviation. And just yesterday afternoon, I'm standing out there and I watched a commercial flight have to take 3 approaches because he got pushed off of his flight path by privates. And he had to make 3 approaches. And so he has to deal with that, and that's in broad daylight, so if he's going to be doing that at night, Meadows, when I'm out there working and looking around, I can see the whole flight path, I can see the runway, everything. And it was a good chuckle yesterday watching this commercial guy flying around in circles for 15 minutes.
All right, so do we think we have all the reasons, are these all the reasons to oppose? Go ahead.
Building also on the Last Dollar resident. I think it's important to note that at least Last Dollar development existed before the airport was built. And that's the context that these approvals were sought and representations were made. It's, it'd be different if all this development had taken place after the airport was already there, but that's not the case.
So is this, what would you call that, property rights? Is that, or is it something, should we add something on here?
It's up there already. It's the promises were made
Okay,
to
all right.
neighbors that existed there before the airport.
So how many of the current Last Dollar owners were Last Dollar owners before the airport?
I'm one of them.
All right, I want to ask this question, is there anything else? Go ahead, you haven't had a chance to speak.
2 things.
What's your name?
Although my biggest fear, my name's Bill Burgess, I'm Last Dollar, they fly right over my condo. My main concern's already up there, getting crashed into. But no one has mentioned actual air pollution, which I smell. I fear that the sinking cold air at night will increase that jet fuel smell. And the other thing is the potential devaluation of my property, which was bought based on those promises.
Property values.
So there might be 10 or 15 households who'd have to be compensated.
Oh, way more than that.
No, I mean, I don't think, based on the noise abatement cases, anybody who bought after the airport was there gets compensated.
Could I speak to that point?
Go ahead.
Everybody that bought land in here up until today bought knowing that the airport was closed at night. It was closed at night. There was nothing, you could not find any document anywhere, not on the TRA website, not in the TRA master plan, or not in the county master plan, saying that we will potentially open this at night. It was never an issue. It was not going to be open at night.
All right, let me ask this question. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 reasons to oppose. I want kind of a show of hands is what people think is the most important reason to oppose. How many think it's the change to lifestyle, the first one that we started with? 1, 2? Okay, how about, so can you just write 2?
How many times can you vote?
I'm asking you, what, if you had to pick one of these, and I know we have to make choices in our life, but what is the biggest reason for you as to why we shouldn't have these night flights? So we had 2, so let's start again, change the lifestyle. Put your hands up high. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? How about noise and light pollution? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I counted. How about safety issues? All right, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 25, 26. I think that's going to be the biggest issue. But let's say, what is it? Oh, this one, this is noise. Is that kind of the same thing
this
here?
and
Or is
this one,
different?
and these three are pretty much related. The air pollution, the light
Okay.
and noise pollution, and the noise abatement procedures.
How about
He said
promise?
noise abatement as it regarded to safety, if I
Safety,
read you right.
yes. Yeah.
Right. Let's put that up with safety. How about previous promises? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't vote twice. That I laid the ground rules. I'm a nice guy. How about wildlife? Right, 1 for prairie dogs. Air pollution. Oh, that was with noise and light pollution.
Yeah.
And then property values. How many do we have for property values? Okay, so it seems to me that the biggest issue that we're talking about here is a safety issue. Do you have something to say?
I do.
What is your name? Did you say?
Kathy McComb.
Okay.
Is it really necessary to extend the hours? Are there that many planes that can't fly in during daylight hours?
Can someone who is, speak to that, who is possibly pro airport night flights, talk about that? Go ahead.
I'm not pro, but I think I can nutshell
I
the
said
argument.
possibly, yeah.
Really, the argument in favor comes down to the ability to attract more scheduled commercial flights. Because of the wintertime, reduced hours, the commercial flights can't do another round turn. They believe that, the airport authority believes that by extending those hours, they can get an additional flight in from the carriers that serve the Tyrone market, thereby hoping to ensure that they'll meet the minimum employments, which ensures they're federal funded. That's the crux of their argument and why they're proposing it.
The load factor now on commercial flights coming in here is 50%.
That's what I would have
And
guessed.
I'll,
So the load factor on a plane coming in is only half load. The Denver flight,
and the
which is
context-
cheaper than the Montrose Denver flight.
I've been on many
Go ahead.
flights.
Yeah,
where
let me
there's
just finish.
E3.
The irony of the argument here is that the report that they just came out with includes this study, this Boyd study, which makes a bloody compelling case that they're going to lose the commercial flights anyway. I mean, we should all be concerned that we're going to be losing the
Right.
commercial flights. I mean, it's basically it comes down to the airlines aren't making the planes that can fly into Telluride.